I want to compare what it's like when you have a great job and you're the only black person in the room.
I've traveled around the world, but what is it like being, a black young professional here in the UK?
Sometimes it can feel really lonely just because you're in an environment where there isn't a senior leader that looks like you. It's hard to find that common ground.
You feel like, okay, maybe I do need to work a bit harder. Maybe that will help me overcome whatever barriers might be around.
Do you guys experience discrimination in your field?
It's really hard to know if it's because you're black or even because you're a woman.
That's what's so tough about discrimination and racism. It's that it's so insidious and you can't always call it out and know that something is kind of attributed to your race, and it makes you kind of question yourself and you're like, maybe it wasn't that. I'm sure it wasn't, it was okay. But those moments where you've had like hair touching, or when someone kind of tells you, oh, make sure you don't bring that smelly food into the office, and that's before you kind of had a chance to bring food in, that's when you're like, something is definitely not right.
There have been times where people have made comments about you, like hanging around with a group of black people, for example. You just have to be really conscious of how it would look to other people, because I've kind of been told in the past, like a group of, like, I guess young black people doesn't usually have the best kind of connotations, even if we're just kind of having lunch together.
That's really sad. Yeah.
Do you feel like a box ticked? Oh, we have our female and our
black
woman, and you tick 2 boxes.
Well, then, exactly. So that's where you talk about diversity versus inclusion. Because yes, there's, you can tick the boxes and say, here, we have a black woman now, but if the culture isn't inclusive, you won't retain that talent.
Right now, we have no black senior leaders in the FTSE 100. And the last one we did have, there's a big New York Times op piece about his experience being awful.
What does the future look like? How does my cousin, my little niece, how do we make it to where she grows up to be like you all?
I think number one is the role model visibility. And I think it's for us all to take that on board and be mentors, right? And figure out how we can open the doors for other people. Because we can't have our children and their children having this same conversation in 20, 40 years' time. Like, enough really is enough. And I think that's why we're now challenging it and we're speaking up about it.
Yeah.
Maybe like breaking down a door or knocking on a door and waiting for another door to, how about we just make a new door? That's how I feel right now. And meeting these powerful women is confirmation that it's time to build doors. Not knock on doors, not knock down doors, build doors.